Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And for those of you who work with Insurance Advisors Direct, you know that we spend a lot of time and energy helping to bring our independent agent relationships valuable support, service, product training, sales training. And of course, one of the areas we get asked the most questions on is when it comes to lead generation. Probably just about every phone call I have with independent agents around the country is, how can I more affordably and more effectively generate more leads? And we know that there's a lot of options out there. So today we wanted to come to you with some ideas on what is working for agents around the country. Maybe some of these are ideas that you've used in your own practice and continue to use. That's great. Hopefully we can give you some new ideas, maybe some new opportunities to consider. And Richard can do the same. Again, we're both heavily involved with working with agents and agencies around the country. What are they doing to effectively generate leads? Now, in the next few slides, we're going to talk about some ideas of what agents are using. The one thing I would encourage everyone to do, though, is to consider each and every way to generate leads as not the only way to generate leads, or what might work for some agents in certain parts of the country may not be as effective for you in your part of the country, or maybe with the product lines that you're more interested in promoting. And the other thing I would recommend, and I'm sure Richard's going to mention this a few times, is when you get into a lead generation program, stick with it. You know, lead generation is not something that you can just pick and choose each and every time a new way to do this. Some of these lead generation ideas do take time to develop, and they take time to actually begin working. So you have to be really willing to dedicate some of the time necessary. So just a couple tips there as we move along into this presentation. So here are some ideas that we talk with agents on a regular, routine basis. Again, this is information, ideas that we've collected from agencies across the country, ideas that we even use internally at Insurance Advisors Direct, and certainly ideas that we would like to promote and help you to better understand how it may work for you in building your practice. Of course, one of the easiest ways to generate more leads is by existing clients, or maybe it's referrals from existing clients. We know that's some of the best business, some of the easiest business, and sometimes we forget to think about our existing clients and the existing relationships we have. But it's important, and if you're not quite sure how to do that, of course, you can contact us for more details. Maybe you need some sort of marketing pieces, or maybe some pre-approach letters that we can help you out with. But that's a great source to look at first, is going back to your existing clients. Maybe it's with a new product line. Maybe you do like a monthly promotion of a new product that you want to send out, maybe a newsletter, something to your clients, and just let them know, hey, this is something else I do. I'd like to schedule a time, or I'd like to know if you have any interest, please contact me. So again, you can do it a few different ways, but never forget to go back to your existing clients for those cross-sell opportunities. And for new products, let's say with annual election period coming up, another reason why we wanted to devote some time to lead generation is to make sure all of you are prepared for this coming annual election period. I know a lot of you on the call today do Medicare products. You work with Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. So again, very important to be prepared ahead of time. Maybe even calling your existing clients now to set up that annual meeting with them, to sit down and talk about what is right for them in their situation, whether it be a Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage, or maybe there's another product that is of concern to them that you could be talking about. So again, perfect time of year to start thinking about getting back in front of your existing clients. Seminars. We know a lot of agents that are starting to get more active in hosting seminars. Now, seminars do not have to be expensive. I know agents who spend thousands of dollars on seminars for certain products. They maybe provide a meal, they maybe provide other information, but seminars can also be very affordable. You could do something maybe at a local library, someplace a little less costly. You may send out some mailers to invite people. Maybe you get involved with your community in certain aspects. You can promote it through those channels. So there are, again, very affordable ways to do seminars and host public events or educational events. A lot of people today feel that's an important way to gain information without feeling the pressure of having to purchase something. So in the past, a lot of agents used to do seminars primarily for financial products because, again, it's a more costly venture, but we see a lot of agents even doing those more for Medicare supplements and other life and health products, again, but you can do those in a more affordable fashion. And if you have questions on how to do that or need presentations, again, that's something that Insurance Advisors Direct would be able to provide to you. Social media. Again, social media, there's a lot of opportunities within social media to promote your products, promote your business. You just have to make sure you choose the right social media source to get in front of the right people. Facebook and some of the others, you can promote yourselves. I believe they've even now have tools within those sites to promote your products and services. It may not be your only source of lead. I don't think that it would be effective enough to do that, but it is a good place to have a presence because people are looking up companies and learning about companies through social media. So again, make sure that you've got some sort of presence on social media. The next one here is appointment setting leads. So though these are a little bit more costly, there are agents and agencies that prefer to have a service provide them with preset appointments. Now again, it's not a perfect solution. Not every appointment sticks. Not every appointment is a buyer. But it is a great opportunity for those of you who may be busy with other lines of insurance or may be busy and can't take the time to make those calls yourself. You can look for appointment setting services for various products. And again, information to those can be provided by Insurance Advisors Direct. Now, direct mail, and that's one of the areas we're going to spend a good portion of our morning or our afternoon here. We see this being actually one of the top picks across the country. We've seen certain lead fads come and go. Direct mail has stuck with us and has still provided us one of the best solutions for lead generation and one of the most cost-effective solutions for lead generation. When you start talking about how much are you paying per lead and then what are your actual client acquisition costs, those are things that you need to be looking at. Well, when we look at those numbers, we find that direct mail still provides the best return and still puts you in front of more people to keep those client acquisition costs down, which is really of most importance and of no doubt your biggest concern, spending your own marketing and lead dollars. So again, we're going to talk more about those, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that solution here. We have turning 65 lists. Some agents who don't mind making their own phone calls. You can use a very simple script that we've put together, make phone calls to a turning 65 list to get in front of people who are new to Medicare and maybe provide yourself with additional opportunities to sell Medicare supplements and eventually other products. So those are some ideas that other agents are using currently. Another big one, partnering with other professionals. Don't forget about other professionals in your community that may have clients that are in your particular market or in need of products within the market that you're an expert in. So, for example, we have agents who are partnering with financial planners. A lot of financial planners, they're working with people who are Medicare age and older. Well, those financial planners, in many cases, they don't know much about Medicare. They may not be interested in presenting Medicare products, but many of them are using Medicare as a draw to get those people to show up to their meetings, to show up to their annual reviews. Well, guess what? They may not have somebody to actually go in and speak from an expert perspective about Medicare supplements, or Medicare Advantage products. So we have a lot of agents who have successfully tied themselves in to financial planners, property and casualty agents, maybe working with group producers who have people coming off of the group plans going into Medicare. So there's a lot of areas by just talking to other professionals that you may meet at meetings, that you might work with in your community. Don't forget to ask what they're doing with their senior clients and if there's some way to build a partnership. I have one agent, she just did this with her financial planner a couple of weeks ago. He said, hey, I didn't know who to call, but I'm glad we talked because we've been doing a portion of our seminars from a financial planning standpoint. We've been talking about Medicare, and we have a lot of interest, but we don't have anybody in-house to do that. That financial planner is now providing our agent with leads. She's already gotten 30 people to call, and she's already made a few Medicare supplement sales off of that relationship. And that's something that, again, free cost. Now, depending on who you're working with, they may have certain ways to make those arrangements work for both parties. But, again, there's a lot of different ways you can structure it. The point is that that's another area where you can generate more leads. And then we also talk about having a web presence, just like a social media presence. A lot of people today, they're more savvy. They're looking things up online. They're doing their own research, and they're probably going to look you up and see if you're somebody they want to do business with. So we would recommend having some sort of presence on a website. There's very low-cost, easy ways to put yourself out there in a professional, looking professional, so they can get a little background on you. So we would recommend that as well. And there are some ways you can generate web leads. We won't get into detail with those, but there are website or internet-driven leads available as well for different products. Some of the things additionally that Insurance Advisors Direct offers, of course, for those agents working with us in the Medicare arena, we do offer free Turning 65 leads with phone numbers. We have various custom lead and marketing co-op programs. So though some of the costs might be on your plate, as you begin writing business with us and with our carriers, we will help start to co-op and pay for those leads the more business that you do with us. Up front with any of our lead vendors, we do have discounted lead programs that we've negotiated. So, of course, if you're appointed with us, you can get our rate with those particular vendors. We also do a lot of free marketing and pre-approach letters for our agents, just depending on what it is that you'd like to see. Again, we've got in-house marketing and graphics experts that can create those pieces for you where you don't have to spend your own time and money looking for a source to do that. We have a great final expense referral system. If you have questions or interested on that, please let me know. We have live transfer data leads, appointment setting programs, seminar mailers. So we have a number of different lead programs that, again, we bring to you as advisors to help generate more interest in you and your business and your products. So again, if you have any more interest, please feel free to give me a call and we can discuss these specific to your situation and what we might recommend in the event you're looking to do something new as far as lead generation. So again, just more information from Insurance Advisors Direct. What I'd like to do at this point, I haven't seen any questions, so I'm going to end my portion, come back at the very end just to talk about an additional Insurance Advisors Direct incentive with lead programs. But right now I'm going to turn it over to Richard Buffkin, and Richard's going to talk to you about lead generation, what's working, what's not, and what they're seeing from their perspective as a lead generation company, and some of the programs and tools they have available to benefit you in your lead generation. So I'll let you take it from here, Richard.
Thank you very much, Jason. I couldn't agree more with everything you just said in the different lines of lead generation. We're going to talk very specifically about direct mail and also the importance of a CRM, or basically a database for all of your clients and prospects. So first, the advantages of direct mail versus web leads. Direct mail are 100% exclusive, so you're always mailing to a very targeted audience, and every lead that comes back is only for you. So you never have the issue of a multitude of agents calling the same consumer. Like Jason said, this has been the steady Eddie highest ROI tool for agents for a very, very long time. And a big part of that is because sending a card back in the mail, it's a significant event. You've got someone's interest. They are going to, 95% of the time, they're going to remember sending that back in. And with a simple question at the front of a conversation of, may I ask what you had in mind when you sent this back in? You've got an incredible conversation. The other thing, one of the big differences between web leads and direct mail leads is you're working these on your time, not theirs. So when you're working web leads, you've got to be very attentive to your electronics. As soon as that buzzer goes off that you've got a new lead, you've got a very short window of time to contact these people. However, with a direct mail lead, you get to schedule when you're going to call these people. And utilizing a CRM, you can track when people are at home and when they're not home. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The other thing is that it depends upon who you're looking at, but really only 50% of seniors are online, and a little less than that are actively online. So in this market, it's still true today that a lot of people are not actively online. And so you've got the true audience at home. Dixon, I see your question about what CRM do you recommend? We have our own CRM that we built 15 years ago in-house that I'll show you some at the end. It's called TL Lead Manager. And it's built solely and exclusively for life and health insurance agents. So that's one of the biggest differentiations between our CRM and a lot of other ones out there, is that we built it only for you. CRM stands for customer relationship management or client relationship management. I see that question from Thomas. All right, let's talk about direct mail, and we'll spend plenty of time on CRM in a minute. So these are our most frequently utilized forms of direct mail. In the Medicare, turning 65, right? It's pretty cut and dry. Over 65 is typically 66 to 75-year-olds. Now, the dual eligibles and special needs, if you're in this market, this is where direct mail is absolutely killing it these days. We're getting 4 to 7% response rate for dual eligibles and special need plans. Medicare Advantage, we're going to spend a pretty decent amount of time of that in just a minute, so we'll get back to Medicare Advantage. Final expense, long-term care, annuities, combination mailers. So combination is a series of check boxes that allow for the consumer to tell you what they're most interested in. So often you start with Medicare, Medicare supplement, and then this is a great way for annuities or other kind of life insurance leads. And the last one, just to echo what Jason said about seminars, is that we do a lot of seminar mailings, and most of them are customized. And I've seen Jason's templates, and it's a very easy thing for us to replicate. And most of our clients are not spending $4,000 to $8,000 per seminar. Most of them are working at the local library and actually having a higher attendance for a free educational seminar where you're giving away nothing but cookies and coffee without the need for an expensive dinner. So seminars, it's something that absolutely is still working today. So in the we're going to run through each of those listings a little bit and dive a little bit deeper in these different types of direct mail. So turning 65, if you're in this market, our recommendation is that every month you mail what is available in your backyard 4 to 6 months out. If you are doing any remote selling, that's a good thing to think about because you have the ability to cherry pick a lot of areas that are not getting mailed as much. So turning 65 is a very important thing to do. And a lot of people say, well, they're getting so much mail when they turn 65, it's not effective. Well, that's just not true. Yes, they are getting a lot of mail, but it's a numbers game. So if you mail out 1,000 pieces, your discounted rate when you're contracted through I Am Direct, I know that was a question that came out earlier. I can see on the chat over here is our normal rate is $515 per 1,000. Your rate through Insurance Advisors Direct is $455 per 1,000. So $455 is the rate through Insurance Advisors Direct, and that's as low as we go as a company. Just so you know, you can't get a better price with us. Let's see. Do you med sup leads weed out the people? Med sup leads weed out the people looking for Medicare Advantage. There's a question over here that says, do med sup leads med sup leads weed out people looking for Medicare Advantage? Often they do. It's not 100%, but often they do. Mailing in a little bit more rural area is a little bit better for med sup versus Medicare Advantage. And on the card, it specifically says Medicare supplement. So it does a good job of weeding that out. It's not 100%, but it does a good job, absolutely. So then the next part of Medicare supplement is the over 65. So 66, 72, 75, we have some clients that mail as old as 78, but 66, 72 is a good benchmark. Huge market. They've been through the process. And when you utilize carriers and their information as to where they are the lowest or the second lowest carrier in a county, for example, it becomes extremely effective mailing in there saying, may I ask a couple questions? Who do you currently have your med sup with? Oh, you're with company ABC. Well, I don't know, just, XYZ company actually provides the exact same coverage for $182 less a month. Would you like to save $182 a month? The other thing about this, instead of just a cost saving perspective, is that it becomes a very good opportunity to talk to them about everything else that's going on in their life. Why did you send this back in? Okay, so we have the ability to, save you some money by switching. Can I ask you some other questions about where you currently are? And then when you go into a fact-finding mode, these people are savvy. They know what's going on, and it's a very good opportunity to cross-sell. Final expense, national averages 1% to 2%. As Jason said, some parts of the country have a higher response rate than others. Just give us a call and we can tell you exactly what to expect in your backyard. Very high closing ratios, 33% approximately. That's what our clients tell us. They sell 1 out of 3 of our final expense leads. Long-term care is actually making quite a bit of a resurgence in the last 18 months. We've got plenty of generics to work. We are also the official lead generator for the 3 and 4 Need More campaign, if you're familiar with that. And endorsed pieces, they really work well. So going back to what Jason said about working with financial advisors, just one example on the long-term care side is that if you become the go-to person for a financial advisor firm, it makes it very easy to reach out to their clients and prospects using direct mail on their letterhead. So, XYZ financial firm is very concerned about, you outliving your money. We would like to schedule an appointment to discuss long-term care insurance with you, things like that. We can help you wordsmith that and put that together. But if you're interested in long-term care, it needs a little bit more of a discussion. Annuities. We're generating about 1.2 is the national average. In some states, we've seen 0.8, but this is the basic piece where you're talking about reducing or eliminating taxes on Social Security, earning higher than CDs, tax deferment. And this piece is a really good annuity piece. Combination leads, I talked about this before, gives you the ability to mix and match and customize some of this stuff to what you're most interested in selling and talking about. And then the consumer will tell you what they're interested in talking about. Seminars, we already touched on this. The best thing to do with seminars is contact us and we'll help you put together a piece that's designed specifically for you. All right, now AEP. Here it comes. It's time for AEP. Can I talk a little bit more about the annuity lead? Sure. Sorry, I see a chat over here, and I'll do it over here. So the annuity lead, you're mailing like 58 to 68 approximately, mailing to a little bit higher income. So probably 50 or 75,000 up to $250,000 or $500,000 in annual income. So you find that real higher end of the middle market, and we're utilizing home ownership as well as annual income to determine the list that we're going to mail for the annuity lead. I hope that helps, Dixon. AEP. Okay, here it comes. So the most important thing about AEP mailings is the timing. We're already putting in orders as we speak. It's beginning. Our recommendation is to mail early. If you mail on August 30th, September 5th, you can expect a 1 to 2% response rate. If you mail on October 1st, you can expect less than 1%. And if you mail on November 1st, you can expect maybe 2 leads. So really the most important part about AEP is getting in front of it. A lot of our clients, what they do is they mail, again, mid-August. So August 15th to September 15th. And then they hold the leads until October 1, which I believe is the day that you can begin contacting and setting up appointments. I am not from CMS, so sometimes I forget all of the rules, but I believe what I just said is accurate. So on October 1, now you've got hopefully somewhere between 20 and 150 leads. And the phone calling begins and the appointment setting begins. And you start filling up your calendar. So the second point here, you're mailing over 65. A lot of people mail to all incomes, and the other 50% start at 20,000 and up. So if you start Medicare Advantage with the annual income at 50 or 75 and up versus 0 or 20,000 and up, you're going to get a bit of a lower response rate. The higher incomes are going to respond a little bit less. Sorry, I'm reading a question over here. To have 100 leads through you and mail out 8,000 pieces, that's about right. Yeah, Dixon, that's about right.
And maybe, Richard, if you just want to speak a little bit about the lead generation and the ability for them to also purchase the lists of people being mailed to and how those could be used, I think that might be helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll get to that in just 1 second. So here's our 3 most popular lead samples. So we're mailing these out in primarily 2 different formats. One is a bifold. So this is part of the bifold. There's 4 panels to it. It folds over on the outside. It says, Medicare Advantage season, what have you. If you contact us, we'll give you the full samples. And then the other is what's called a snap out. This is an old carbon-based format that, to be very frank with you, is extremely ugly, and it is extremely effective. It absolutely gets opened. So about lead generation in utilizing the list. So if you do a mailing for $455, for $15 more, you can get the mail list in an Excel format. So we call that the duplicate list. So on that list, you can also get the addition of phone numbers that are scrubbed against the do not call. And you can figure basically 15% of those names are going to have phone numbers. So about 150 names and phone numbers. And I'll show you in a minute when we get to the database portion, but you can utilize our tool to map all of those people. So you've mailed 1,000 pieces for $455. For 15 more, you're going to get a list of 1,000 people in your backyard that absolutely meet this criteria of age, income, zip code, potentially homeowners, potentially their phone numbers. Those 2 have a slight additional cost associated with them. But the ability to go to someone's home on an appointment. And then before your appointment, look at your list and see what neighbors we mailed. Very often we're mailing people that are on the exact same street, or might even be next door. So one of the ways to make your appointments better is doing a little bit of research on the front end. And then when you go meet with Mary Jones, you know that we mailed her neighbor 2 doors down, Tom Smith. So in the appointment process, you've got that name handy. You can say, we also sent this to your neighbor 2 doors down, Tom Smith. Do you know Tom? Do you think that he would have an interest in this? Can I use your name and go speak with him? Those things are very, very easy. And that's a big benefit of spending an extra $15. Jason, is there any more you want to touch on in regards to the duplicate list?
I think just knowing that it's available and everyone understanding how it can be put to use is huge, because I know I've seen a couple of comments about, the cost of leads. And, it really depends on how you look at it. Really a lead is just someone to go talk to, somebody that's in, the market that you're looking to, talk to about your products. So, the lead cards are valuable, and it's, great to narrow down your search to maybe, 20 or 30 people who have really shown an interest or have a need for Medicare products, let's say, as an example. But knowing who their neighbors are. Now, you have to be careful, of course, with the CMS rules and certification if you're doing Medicare Advantage. But, for Medicare supplements or other products, you're free to call people on the phone, knock on their doors. We have a number of agents that will work off those lists in conjunction with their leads and the return cards, and they'll notice, hey, the next door neighbor's 65 as well. I'm going to go knock on his door, just because I just helped this neighbor who returned the lead card with their Medicare products and with their Medicare insurance. And we have agents who routinely make other sales, and when they go to the door, they have those lead cards in hand and say, hey, we were just stopping by. We know you're on Medicare. We're here to talk to you about Medicare supplement options. We just got through meeting with your neighbor, helping them with some questions they had. Would you be available to meet? Do you have some time now, or can we set an appointment? And we actually have people that will say, you know what, I saw that lead card, but I don't return those because I'm not sure who's going to come to my home. But you look like a good person. Come on in. I do have some questions. So, again, another way to get yourself in front of more people with your products at a very low to no cost way to do it. So just, again, if you're using those appropriately, they can really help enhance the leads that you are paying for.
We have some clients that say they make as much money, or if not more money, from the duplicate list than they do from the actual lead cards. All right.
Yep. And I think the key there too, Richard, is, really is what are your acquisition costs? We talk a lot about this, and I see some comments about, not getting in with every lead, and it is true. You're going to get lead cards returned. You may never be able to reach the people over the phone. You may never be able to reach them at their home. So, again, there's going to be a small fall off from that, but the people you do get in front of course, in many cases they're shopping, they're looking for some assistance. But if you can take those other sources that you may have to build in some additional sales, that too is going to drop your your acquisition costs. It's one of those things. If I said, hey, your acquisition cost is $75 per Medicare client. Well, if you do the math and you're making $300+ per Medicare supplement sale, would you trade me $75 for $300? Well, sure. We'd probably all do that each and every day, but that's really how you have to look at it. So there is that investment, but again, it's really what are your acquisition costs on those new clients.
Well, let's talk about some acquisition costs. So I did a presentation at the Medicare Supplement annual convention hosted by Jesse Sloan in Florida in April. And I went to some of my clients and got this exact math. Okay, so this gentleman is a remote seller. He sells Medicare supplement from his living room. He consistently gets about a 3.8% response rate. That's very consistent for what he does, but in this universe, that's what it was. So here you go. Out of 76 leads, so he spent 2,000 pieces. So it's about $1,000 a month is what he spends with us. He sold out of 76. He sold 18 Med Sup leads, 12 Part D. I don't know what happened to the number here. There wasn't a number here. I think it was 5 final expenses, 2 annuities for a total of $18,000. There you go. $12 leads, $24 closing ratio. He made $225 for every lead that he received for a total profit of $17,000. And a big part of what he does is once he gets through the Medicare portion, then he goes and asks other questions and figures out what their needs are, what they're worried about, and goes from there. I don't know about the Thomas Russo. I see your question. I'm not sure. Okay, here's another one. This is door to door. This is your classic independent agent. He has 3 agents that work with him, and the 4 of them with these 110 leads sold 57 Med Sup, 18 final expense, 6 annuities for a total of $51,000. I told him, I was like, I don't think I can show these numbers. I don't think they're right. And he showed me exactly. And they do this consistently. And again, a big part of this is handling the Med Sup. So just on the Med Sup, they made a lot of money. They made $11,000. But by asking questions and listening and being ready to talk about how an annuity can help or why you need a final expense, etc. Here you go. These are very real numbers that happen every day with direct mail. I see your comments over there about the Part D. I think you're right. I think something happened when this slide got transferred that some of that math got slightly messed up. I think you're absolutely right. Okay, so here's the same kind of math. For this person, their average lead cost is $8.63. They're closing 52. They're going to the door every time. Less phone, more door to door. All right, here's a total profit. All right, this is, how did I calculate 863? It's $950 divided by 110. Okay, so the key to any marketing effort, whether it's working with financial advisors, whether it's perfecting your social media, whether it's direct mail, is that it's consistency. You've got to get in the process of doing the same thing over and over and over. One of the biggest problems that we see with independent agents is you have a tendency to bounce around at the next shiniest thing. Someone tells you, "Oh, I bought $1,000 and I sold 4 annuities and made 25 grand," and there's a lot of jumping that occurs. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't try different things, but one of the beauties of direct mail, and going back to some of that math that we just looked at, is that if you isolate $1,000 a month, that's 2,000 pieces of mail a month. Every month, what you will have is a consistent, steady flow of leads coming to your inbox. One of the problems that we see is that we have clients that do this, and then they stop for like 2 months, and then they call us in a panic. "Hey, I need you to get mail out for me tomorrow. I don't have any leads." We're like, "Well, what happened? Where have you been for the last 3 months? We've been trying to reach you to keep your schedule going." "Oh, I went after the next shiniest thing, and now I need to get back to what I was doing that was working." So this is one thing for you guys to really consider, is that you need a marketing plan and you need an allocation of money, a budgeted amount of money. In the neighborhood of $1,000 a month is a very good number for most independent agents. 2,000 pieces should get you 40 to 50 leads a month. And that becomes the backbone of your business. All right. What is a lead? A lead is a $1,000 bill. It's not a $9 piece of paper. It's a $1,000 bill. Every one of them has more than the potential to become a $1,000 bill. You've got to treat them like baby birds. You've got to be very respectful of your leads. You need to be organized. Can't go spend $1,000 a month and keep them in a stack on the corner of your desk or in a drawer. You need a plan, you need to be consistent, and you need a database. So now, CRM, Customer Relationship Management Software. That's an industry term. I don't really love it. I like to think of this as your database of where all of your money is going to come from. So when we have one, all right, and if you're doing direct mail with us, it's free to you. We typically charge $40 a month for access to our system. Because you're with Insurance Advisors Direct and you're doing marketing with us, this tool becomes free to you. There are other systems out there that work pretty darn well. Again, ours is 15 years old. We built it only for you. It's only for life and health insurance agents. We don't sell to anybody else. Okay, so from a database perspective, you need to have instant access to all of your prospects and client data. So when Mrs. Jones, the person who you sold a policy to 3 years ago, calls you with a question, your ability to pull that name up in 90 seconds or 20 seconds is very, very impressive and very, very important. You got to remember that people don't always buy on day one. A lot of people, they need some maturation in the sales cycle. When you tell somebody that you're going to call them next Thursday at 1, you should call them next Thursday at 1. And these types of systems will help you do that. Your follow-up and your timeliness is paramount. The ability to do what you said you were going to do is really important in life. All of this stuff demonstrates your professionalism. Going back to the duplicate list, knowing the nearest neighbors and being able to pull that up easily on your phone or on your computer is extremely profitable. Echoing it on that people don't always buy on day one, recycling leads instantly is very important. So if someone says, you know what, I don't know why my wife keeps sending this stuff back in, we're not interested, but thank you. Well, the ability to check one box and say, yes, it's cloud-based. Yes, it works on smartphones. The ability to very quickly make a note that says, try this person back next week and try to get her on the phone. Don't talk to him, talk to her. Cross-selling, we've talked a lot about that. The ability to mine your data, to very easily go in and type the word Medicare and find everyone who's on Medicare. That's extremely powerful. And then referrals. We've talked about this a few times this morning. Referrals are a huge part of business. And being able to do everything that's above the word referral on this screen will make getting referrals easier. If you do everything that's above that, asking for referrals and getting them will be second nature. All right, so if you're interested in this, if you have a CRM that you don't love, you should call us. If you do not have a CRM, you really need to call us. So this screen looks like there's a whole lot going on here. We're not going to dive into every feature and everything, but basically this screen is broken down into the contact information. So here's the name, the date of birth, their age. Down here is all of their contact information. Right here's the word map. If you click on this in our system, you can see if it's a trailer park or if it's a mansion. If you get leads without phone number, we have this nifty tool of white pages. You click that. Oops. It inserts all their information into whitepages.com. The map button is right here. This is just an image. Dixon, I see your question. When you click this, it will pull up all of their information inserted into Google Maps. Okay, so there's the contact information. There's more there. All right, the next part of this system is designed as these 3 columns. So every time, Dixon, I think there was a slow connection for a minute. I got a warning, but it appears that it's not there, that it's up. Anyway, our system is broken down, like I said, just for you guys. It's built for only your industry. So we try to make this incredibly simple. Lead status, where do they fall in the sales process? Is it a new lead? Or do you have a callback? Are they not interested? You have an appointment set? Are they sold? So then here, must call on, all right? That's your future date of what to do. Maybe check underwriting. Maybe call and talk to the wife because the husband's a jerk. And then call notes. So this says left voicemail, all right? So if you're calling people and they're not answering, you call them 3 times in the morning, guess what? Try them in the afternoon. So there's a date and time stamp on here that helps you guys be more efficient, therefore more effective. And then the last part of this screen is up here at the top. It says people to call today, 8. You click on this, they're the 8 people that you need to call back today. The other cool thing about our system is that it can send you an email or a text message every morning telling you what your day is like. It's basically your calendar on a phone every day. So when you're doing direct mail, we scan and upload the image of every lead card. So you've got the physical card in your hands within a few hours of us receiving it in our office. So you can click on this and print it out, and you've got just imagine this one was, pardon me, filled in with the person's handwriting. You'll see all of their handwriting. And down here at the bottom in our system, it says show printer friendly with lead data and nearest neighbors. So in our system, when you click this button, you're going to get up to 8 people that live within a square mile of this lead. So when you go to the appointment, you already know who the neighbors are. It's right here on a piece of paper for you. You can very easily say, we also mailed this to these 6 neighbors that are around you. Do you know any of these, right? Okay, so that's another cool feature, is that you've got the scanned image in your hand. And our system tells you who the neighbors are. All right, so the other thing that Jason talked about at the beginning of this call is the importance of your existing clients. If you're not doing this currently, you need to. Our system will help you do this very effectively and very efficiently. But you don't need my system to do this. I am of the opinion that you should be sending thank you cards every time you go to an appointment, every time you leave an appointment, and every time you sell a policy. I also think you should be sending out birthday cards. So if you're not using a CRM, it makes it very difficult to figure out who everyone's birthday is in the month of August. When you're using a database, you can simply type in August and it will show you all of your clients and prospects whose birthdays are there. So for a few dollars, you can send them a very good looking birthday card with your picture in it, your business card, and whatever you want to write in here. Existing clients, referrals, right? The whole point of direct mail lead generation is to get you to a point in your career and your business where you don't need my company anymore because you're all referral based. That's why you need to allocate $1,000 a month somewhere in that general ballpark for the next couple of years so that you've built up this very nice base of clients who then become your source of leads. Okay, so the last thing that I want to remind you all of is that if you are in the AEP market, we highly recommend that you give us a call today or tomorrow or by Friday and get your AEP plan in place. What that means is that when you call us, we're going to ask you some questions. Where do you live primarily? We'll show you different lead samples and the expected response rate. And then you need to isolate your names. We as a company do not remail households for 90 days. That means that we are not mailing the husband one day and the wife another day. We block out that household specifically for you, and no one else has the opportunity to mail it. You may call us and say, how many names are available in 90210 in Beverly Hills? We may say 0. There are no names available because someone else has already taken those names. Clicked the wrong button. I am very proud of the fact that Target Leads in April celebrated our 30th anniversary. The big reason for our success is that we do what we say we're going to do when we're going to do it. The big part of that is not remailing names over and over and over again. We understand that your success is based upon us not mailing to that house every single day. It's got to be spaced out. There's got to be separation in mailings. So AEP is coming very quickly, and there is a good chance that another one of our clients is going to take all the names that you want. So if you're interested in AEP mailings, it is really important for you guys that today or in the next 3 or 4 days that you give us a call and we get you situated. TargetLeads.com. It's very simple, very easy way to get in touch with us. If you would like a full-blown demo of our CRM, we can give you a very good look at it in about 15 minutes. We've got tons of videos and stuff on our website that you can go look at and get a brief introduction to it. But I highly recommend giving us a call, and we will walk you through it and answer your questions and show you how this can be extremely beneficial for you. This segment has not been designed as an advertisement for Target Leads. We've worked with Insurance Advisors Direct for a long time. They're a very good partner of ours, but the real point of this is to help you guys as agents understand where direct mail is at today, what you can expect, the paramount need for a good database, and thirdly, get your AEP off on the right foot. If you start this process in 30 days, you are going to be way behind the ball. The time for AEP is today, right now. So, thank you very much for all of your attention and the great questions that came out off on the chat.
All right. Thank you, Richard. And again, as Richard mentioned, both Target and Insurance Advisors Direct, the sole purpose for today's meeting was to bring you some ideas, different types of lead generation. Of course, we spent quite a bit more time on the direct mail portion, but again, it is a tested, proven model that works for agents all over the country for a multitude of products. It's not limited on its success per product line. So again, if you would like some of those numbers, you can contact us, contact Target, and they can share some of the average response rates per lead card in your particular areas. But again, it's a very tested, proven, affordable model. So we do encourage you to use this type of lead generation. Maybe it's to supplement something else you're doing, but again, it's going to get you in front of people that are buyers. So, again, very affordable type of lead generation. Target will even customize the lead pieces for you if you'd like it to say something a bit more specific or tailor it more towards a seminar or something that fits with what you're doing. Again, they're very good about that and putting you in the right direction. Again, some of the other lead generation ideas, of course, work. We have agents all over the country using those. If you'd like more information, I'd be happy to speak with you individually on those. And again, definitely take advantage of the Target Lead Management Tool. Agents who are successfully using that and sticking to that are finding greater success in converting those leads and making more money off of those leads. So a great tool that Target offers free of charge for doing business with them. So again, we look forward to working with each and every one of you, answering your questions. Just a couple things here. This is one of our current lead co-op programs. You can see we have some final expense incentives as well as Medicare supplement incentives. We can share more information with you. This is a customizable program that we can work into your business and your model, and we even have some other carrier-specific lead generation programs currently working right now. So if you have more questions on those, please let us know. And again, any additional questions, if you'd like to chat about something specific, please feel free to give us a call, and we can talk through those with you. If you'd like more information on how to order leads with Target, please let us know. We can provide you with an order form. And with that, I don't see any other questions, so why don't we go ahead and wrap up. Again, appreciate everyone's time. Richard, thanks for taking time out of your day to join us today. And again, this is being recorded. So if you have any additional questions or would like to view this separately, let us know. We can send you a copy of this recording. So again, everyone have a great day, and we look forward to working with you in the near future and for all of your lead generation needs.